I never thought I'd be writing this. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely type, and I keep looking over my shoulder, terrified of what I might see. But I have to get this out there. I have to warn people. Maybe someone can help me before it's too late. It all started last Friday night. My friends and I were bored looking for a thrill. We'd exhausted our usual hangout spots, the dingy local bar, the 24-hour diner on the edge of town, the abandoned mall we sometimes sneak into. Jake suggested we try out the old Ouija board his grandma left him when she passed away last year. We laughed it off at first, but after a few drinks, it seemed like a fun idea. A harmless way to spice up our night. God, I wish we had never touched that thing. There were 5 of us: me, Jake, Sarah, Mike, and Lily. We gathered in Jake's dimly lit living room, the only illumination coming from a few flickering candles. The Ouija board was old, the wood dark and scarred with age. As Jake placed it on the coffee table, I remember feeling a chill run down my spine, but I brushed it off as just the alcohol and the spooky atmosphere. We all placed our fingers lightly on the planchette, giggling nervously. Jake started us off with some simple questions, asking if there were any spirits present. Nothing happened at first, and we were just about to give up when suddenly the planchette jerked violently under our fingers. It started spelling out words rapidly. Death, pain, suffering. We tried to pull our hands away, but it felt like our fingers were glued to the planchette. It kept moving, faster and faster, spelling out horrific things I don't even want to repeat. We begged it to stop, tried to say goodbye, but it wouldn't let us end the session. That's when the lights went out. In the sudden darkness, we heard this growl. It was low and guttural, unlike anything I've ever heard before. Not animal, not human. Sarah screamed, a high-pitched sound of pure terror that cut off abruptly. When the lights flickered back on a few seconds later, she was gone. Just gone. As if she'd never been there at all. We panicked, ran out of Jake's house into the cold night air, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. We tried calling Sarah's phone, but it just rang and rang, echoing emptily in the silent street. The next morning, they found her body in the woods behind Jake's house, or what was left of it. I can't bring myself to describe what they told us. It was as if something had torn her apart. The police thought it was some kind of animal attack, maybe a bear or a pack of coyotes. But we knew better. We had heard that growl. We were all questioned by the police, of course. We didn't tell them about the Ouija board. Who would believe us? We barely believed it ourselves. We tried to convince ourselves it was just a horrible coincidence, that Sarah's death had nothing to do with what happened that night. But deep down, we knew. We knew we had opened a door to something terrible, something that wasn't going to stop with Sarah. Over the next few days, the others started dying too, each death more gruesome than the last. Mike was next. He called me late Sunday night, his voice a terrified whisper. He said he could hear something moving around outside his apartment, scratching at the walls. I told him to call the police to get out of there, but he was too scared to move. The last thing I heard was the sound of breaking glass, a horrific scream, and then silence. They found his body the next morning. The official report said he fell from his 10th floor balcony, but I know what really happened. Something dragged him out there. Lily lasted until Tuesday. She had barricaded herself in her dorm room, refusing to come out. We tried to talk to her through the door, but she was hysterical, babbling about shadows moving on their own, and voices whispering to her from the darkness. Campus security finally broke down the door when her roommate reported she hadn't seen Lily in days. The room was empty, the window still locked from the inside. The only trace of Lily was a message scrawled on the wall in what looked horribly like blood. It won't let me leave. And Jake, oh God, Jake, he was the last one. He called me yesterday, saying he had found a way to end it. He'd been researching nonstop, looking for a way to close the door we had opened. He told me to meet him at his house, that he had a ritual that could banish whatever we had let in. When I got there, the front door was wide open. I called out for Jake, but there was no answer. I found him in the living room, right where we had used the Ouija board. The sight will haunt me for the rest of my life, however long that might be. His body was contorted in ways that shouldn't be possible. Every joint bent backwards, his face frozen in a scream of absolute agony. On the floor around him was a circle of salt, candles, and symbols I didn't recognize. Whatever ritual he had tried, it hadn't worked. Or maybe it had worked too well, and the thing we let in didn't like Jake trying to send it back. Now I'm alone, the last one left, and I know I'm next. I can feel it watching me, waiting for the right moment to strike. I hear scratching at my windows at night, see shadows moving in the corners of my eyes. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of something in reflective surfaces, something dark and twisted and wrong. When I try to look directly at it, it's gone. I haven't slept in days. I can't eat. I jump at every sound, flinch at every shadow. I know it's only a matter of time before it comes for me too. Please, if anyone out there knows how to stop this, help me. I've tried everything I can think of. Salt lines, protective symbols, prayers from every religion I could find online. Nothing works. It just seems to make it angry. I don't want to die. Not like the others. But I don't know how much longer I can... Post ends abruptly. Edit. Oh God, I hear it. It's in the house. I can hear it moving around downstairs. The scratching is getting louder. I think it's coming up the stairs. Please, someone, anyone help him. No further edits.